So here we have for review this new frame from iFlightRC.com. Thank you iFlightRC for sending it for review. They call it the iFlight RACER iX5 200mm frame motor to motor. Though this frame it's not a true X frame, it's actually wider in the motor to motor in the front than it is in the rear motors. So let's get some measurements. It is about 145 millimeters in the rear motors. This one only goes to 150, so I'll use the mat right here, and that says about 160 millimeters motor to motor in the front, and front to back is about 130 millimeters. So it's not quite symmetric. Wider in the front than it is in the back. However, I don't think that will make much of a difference. The FCs usually take care of all that mixing pretty well these days. So though it's kind of a odd geometry, so we'll see how that performs. Compared to a more symmetric frame, this one's the real ACC QAX whatever frame. This is the clone that they have. Compared to that, you can see it's actually, see if we can get it lined up, it's actually a lot small. It's noticeably smaller. So if you can more or less see the difference there. So that's basically the difference. And the thickness of the plate is 4 millimeters. So 4.15 there. 4.01. 4.16. So not too bad. I guess at least the minimum is 4. So right here in the rear arms are a little bit thicker, but not too bad. The rest those seem to be 4 millimeters, so that's pretty good. And they've done a good thing. They've beveled the edges here, so there's no sharp edges. So that's quite nice. One thing they've done, well, they've done these cutouts. I don't expect these to weaken the frame that much. This portion here shouldn't be hitting when you crash, so that shouldn't cause any weakening of the frame, because when you crash, the arms will hit, unless you hit a pole or a rock here. But that's 4 millimeters, so though there's these holes there, so the effective cross section is that and that. But I really don't expect that to break. You'd have to be really unlucky to just nail something. I guess a pole. If you hit a pole, you might end up breaking that. Other than that, is frame looks pretty good. The arms are pretty slim. They're narrow. They're about 15 millimeters in width. So that's gonna help reduce aero drag when you're at speed. But the downside of that is that because of the slenderness, sometimes these tend to be a little bit flexible. But since they went with 4mm plate, I don't really expect it to be any issue. It does bend, but I mean, you need to put some force there. It's no worse than this one from just feeling it. You know, it's actually this one feels flexier actually. It seems that this one's a little bit stiffer. Yeah, this one's just a little bit. I mean, this is just what I feel. I mean, it's not, by no means it's I have to you know, do a test with load cells or something, but anyway, it feels pretty good. That shouldn't be an issue. So next we have here is the camera mount. It's these two plates, and they'll go on the top plate, and they use that scheme where the method of securing to the top plate. They'll use bolts through these holes here, and then you just tighten it down. Should be okay, I think. We'll find out in crashes, if you know, when we crash, if it doesn't get out of whack there. Anyway, you know, not a biggie. Sometimes I just like to use a piece of dense foam. I just cut a wedge and just use a Velcro to secure the camera like that. Sometimes that works pretty well anyway. So, but anyway, that's the camera mount. So I'll put it together. So see how it seems like a pretty easy frame to build. I mean, it's just a very few pieces. They give you this plate too. This one's for the FC or whatever you want to put there. Now that we have those integrated PDVs and VTXs, but I don't know how that would work. It's a protector, or I don't know how these would go. Usually you just stack them one on top of the other, and I wish they had made this out of G10, because G10 is non-conductive. So if we use you know, whatever PDV or whatever, you could just put it there, and then you have a layer non-conductive material. So that would be actually better. But that's that. So I'll put it together and see how it goes. And actually, I'm gonna be using this frame to test the other parts that they sent me. Their motors, their new line of motors, iPower. These are 2205, 2500, and they got all the all the latest features. So these I'll be testing separately. So I'll be reviewing this separately. Anyway, these are the motors that are gonna go in this frame. And they sent me some which I showed on the upcoming test, ESCs and the flight controller. So I'll be using all those parts to build this frame. Don't know yet if I'm gonna do a full build. I mean, there's so many build videos, but I'll probably show as part of the ESC review. I'll show the how it sits on the frame and this how the wires get soldered and how they're routed. But I probably won't do it like a full build because there's so many out there, so we don't need another one. Anyway, I'm quite curious to see how this frame performs, see how durable it is. Certainly feels pretty well made. The carbon fiber feels pretty good quality. It's nicely machined, nicely CNC'd. There's no rough edges, and actually there wasn't much dust, so it's pretty good, Oh, also comes with the battery protector plate, so that would protect your battery. This one's probably fits like a 1300 milliamp battery. So these are good. If you happen to crash land or crash on a rock or something, this will protect your LiPo in most cases. Then they give you some I guess this is for mounting EFC. These are foam double-sided tape, pretty thick, so I guess that probably goes there. Maybe the other one, well, it's double-sided, so I don't know if the other one would be for the battery. It would stick there, so it's probably for the FC. So that would go right there. That's pretty good. Serves as a non-conductive insulated layer. This is how the camera mount installs to the top plate. It's just these two plates held together by these aluminum standoffs and steel screws. So you use these nuts here. They're kind of like capture nuts. Just put them here. They use 4, so it should be pretty strong mount, I think. So even in a rough crash, it might, I don't think it'll come off. We'll see. For sure I'll be crashing this, so it just goes there, and then your camera mounts right there, like so. So it's supposed to be, I believe they say it's 35-degree angle mount, but if you need it more, I guess you would have to use some type of foam to lift it and tilt it more. but seems like you could route your Velcro strap through there and around through here. So it seems that would be the best way to secure it. So that should be pretty good. And one good thing that does is it keeps the weight centered. So the weight's gonna be in the very close to the center of the quad, center of thrust, and the battery too at the bottom. So it should balance out with the weight of the battery, so you have less of a pendulum effect when you're flipping or rolling. So one of the things I did notice is the top plate has this cutout. Again, I mentioned it. It's got this cutout here for the camera, so you can tilt the camera up and you have a unobstructed view, especially when you have a wide angle FPV camera. You need that opening there. So sometimes what happens is they break here, but this is 2mm plate, and it's not that narrow here, so there's a good width of material there, so hopefully that doesn't turn into a weak spot. So we'll see how that does. They're only using 4 standoffs here, and those are about 35mm standoffs. They're aluminum, and they're those light type of standoffs where they're very thin right there, so that helps keep the weight down. So it's actually a very compact 5-inch frame. It should maneuver pretty responsive, I think. And I kind of figured out why they did what they did with the frame the motors being farther apart in the front than in the back, because they have this extension here on the frame to put the FPV camera, so this portion sticks out more. So they need to space the motors farther apart, so for clearance here. So the farther you have bits of frame here, the more you need to pull the motors apart. And in the back, because it doesn't have that extension out here, they were able to have the motors closer together. Like I said, I don't think that would affect the way it responds much, because the FC does a pretty good job at that. So I don't think that'll be an issue. So it seems that they try to keep it as tight as possible. And so this plate goes somewhere there. So again, there's only 4 of those right there. The top frame is 2mm, and it seems pretty stiff. So I imagine nothing's unbreakable. So I imagine if you fell from 50 feet straight down and you landed like so, you might break that with all the weight of the battery and everything. So if you land it like that, you might end up breaking it. But again, that you would probably break most frames. I guess you could, if you wanted to, I guess you could, I don't know, maybe add a couple of standoffs right here, right through here, just right outside there. That could be a mod, like, don't have a standoff. So, like, right about right there, just outside of where the FC goes. You would have to drill through the top plate there and through the bottom plate, and that would provide another reinforcement. So the section that bends would be a lot shorter, so it would resist an impact better. But anyway, that's just something to consider if you're paranoid like I am about crashing and breaking stuff. So overall, I think it's a pretty neat frame. This is one of the most compact 5-inch frames that I've built. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it maneuvers.
That was a somewhat quick overview of the iFlight RACER iX5 200mm frame. I hope you find the review useful. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll be building this frame and I'll be flying it in the next few weeks. It'll be a while before I can fly it. I plan on using all the components that were sent to me by iFlyRC.com, the ESC, the FC, and the motors. So check back soon. I'll have this frame built in a couple of weeks or so. Thanks for watching.